What's up, guys? Boogie the Trainer. So, as you guys can see from the question I made, I posted this question on my Instagram, and so many people had a hard time figuring out why. So many people ask questions. They went back and forth with me, but I decided to make a video about this because it's clear so many people lack the understanding of calories in versus calories out. And obviously, people lack the understanding about fasting or why intermittent fasting works, or why people say do not eat too close to bedtime, why people say all those things. So I realized people have a very people are misinformed. So I decided to make the YouTube video about this. So the first line I say, John needs 2,000 calories to lose weight. So John needs to eat 2,000 calories daily. Peter needs 2,000 calories as well to lose weight. Okay, they both need the same number of calories to lose weight, which means then we are assuming that 2,000 calories will put John and Peter in a caloric deficit, because to lose weight you need to eat less than what your body needs to maintain. So if your body needs 3,000 calories to maintain your current weight, you may need to eat 2,000 calories, which puts you in a caloric deficit to lose weight. Get that? So now that we know Peter and John both need 2,000 calories to lose weight, which means that will be their caloric deficit, the next part of the question is they both do the same activity. Okay, let's say they both sit down and watch the TV, or maybe they both go to the gym, or they take a walk or run, which when I used the fact that they both do the same activity, which means they both burn the same number of calories in a day. So if they both do the same activity in a day, we are assuming they both burn the same calories in a day. So let's say they both burn, each one of them burns 500 calories in a day. Okay, but the difference is when John eats his last meal midnight before bed, okay, Peter on the other hand eats his last meal 6 p.m. and has about 5 hours before bed, midnight. Okay, the difference is John eats all his 2,000 calories in a day. He doesn't go above his calories that he needs to lose weight, which is 2,000 calories. But because Peter eats his last meal at 7 p.m., he thinks he can increase his calories by 200, which most people like to do, and think that, you know what, maybe since I'm eating so many hours before bed, I can eat a little bit more, go beyond my caloric deficit, or go beyond my daily caloric intake. And the reason I made this statement and this question is because people think if you eat 6 hours before bed, you are going to lose weight. They forget the fact that it's about calories in versus calories out. So if Peter and John burn 500 calories a day each, but John still sticks to his 2,000 calories in a day, it doesn't matter what time he eats, because he's still eating 2,000 calories and burning 500 calories. But instead, Peter eats 2,200 calories. So he eats an extra 200 calories. But he thinks because his last meal is at 6 p.m., he will lose weight. But that's not how it works. You're eating more, you're in a caloric surplus. You're eating more than you need to lose weight. So it doesn't matter what time you eat. What matters is you're in a caloric deficit and you're still doing some kind of activity to burn off calories, which means calories out. That's why so many people, even sometimes a caloric deficit alone is not enough. And by caloric deficit, I'm just saying just diet alone is not enough. That's why people do workout. That's why people do cardio, because it puts you in a deeper caloric deficit. So let's say if you need 2,000 calories to lose weight, but you are not working out, you are not doing nothing, you just eat your 2,000 calories and you just sit all day and watch TV, you will lose weight, but it will be very, very slow. But then when you work out and do cardio and lift weights, strength training, it puts you in a deeper caloric deficit, which means it boosts your metabolism. So even if Peter eats at 7 p.m. and all he does is at 6 p.m. and all he does is sit and watch TV, the same way John was doing, in that period between 6 p.m. and midnight, they are both burning the same number of calories because they're just both sitting down watching TV. But remember, Peter ate 200 calories more and John stuck to his 2,000 calories. So at the end of the day, at the end of the month, John will still lose more weight than Peter because he kept in a caloric deficit. But Peter ate 200 calories more. You get that? So, at the end of the day, you gotta be in a caloric deficit. At the end of the day, it's calories in versus calories out. The time you eat doesn't really matter. Okay? The number one reason why people say you should not eat right before bed is because most people are not active. Most people, first of all, and then another thing, they use that because they think if you eat hours before bed, you will prevent yourself from eating too much. Okay? The same goes to intermittent fasting. People do it the wrong way. People think just because I have a usually 16-hour window fasting and then 8 hours of eating, 8-hour window of eating. So if you're doing intermittent fasting, even then, if you are still in a caloric surplus, I don't care how many hours you fast, but if you're still in a caloric surplus, which means you are eating more than your body needs, you will gain weight actually. At the end of the day, how much are you eating? It doesn't matter how long you're not eating. What matters is when you eat, how much are you eating? Are you eating more food than you need? If yes, you're gonna gain weight. If you're eating less, you will lose weight. So for those of you who do intermittent fasting, right, you still need to be in a caloric deficit. Just because you are doing intermittent fasting doesn't mean go eat pizza, eat crazy, eat whatever you want to eat just because you are fasting for 16 hours. Oh no, that's not how it works. Even people who do intermittent fasting, you still have to work out. You still have to do your cardio, you still have to do your strength training. It just doesn't mean just because you're fasting, you are going to magically lose weight. Now, don't get me wrong, it will work, but it will be very slow. And after a while, the body will adapt and you will go back to gaining weight. So at the end of the day, whether you eat at 6 p.m. before bed, whether you eat 8 hours before bed, whether you fast for 16 hours, you still got to make sure you are in a caloric deficit. So if you need 2,000 calories to lose weight, it doesn't matter whether you eat before bed, whether you eat 7 hours before bed, whether you eat 15 hours before bed. Make sure you don't eat more than you need. Okay? At the end of the day, if let's say if John eats his last meal before bed, but then Peter eats his last meal 8 hours before bed, but he has fries, burgers, pizza, soda, candy, do you think he's still gonna lose weight like John just because he ate 10 hours before bed? No. The only way Peter can lose more weight than John is if he's in a caloric deficit, or if before bed he works out and burns those 2 calories, those extra 2 calories off. That's why they say it's easier to eat less rather than eat more and think you are going to work out or do cardio. That's why they say bad diet, you cannot outwork a bad diet. It's easier to eat 200 calories less rather than try to go to the gym or walk or do whatever activity to try to burn off the 200 calories. So those extra 200 calories that Peter eats will come back to haunt him at the end of the month, because that's a caloric surplus. So again, I hope guys, I hope this video really makes everything clear. At the end of the day, it's how much you are eating. At the end of the day, how much do you need? Find out what your caloric deficit is. Eat those calories. Do some cardio, do some strength training, some type of activity to make sure you are in a deeper caloric deficit. You get that? I hope this really solves this mystery. It's not about what time you eat before bed. It's about how much you eat before bed. It's not about the time, but rather the calories. You get that? Alright, like the video, subscribe to my channel, comment down below. Peace.